There's a moment, quiet, almost shy, when you settle into the stillness of your room and feel the night begin to gather around you. It's gentle, like someone dimming the lights with the back of their hand. And in that softened glow, you reach for something that feels both familiar and strangely alive, your book of gratitude. You don't rush, you don't even think. You just open it, the way you might breathe in a scent that reminds you of home. Tonight, as you lift the cover, you can almost hear a faint exhale, as if the book itself has been waiting for you, waiting for this exact pause, this small refuge at the end of your long day. You feel the weight of it resting in your hands, encouraging your shoulders to drop just a little more, inviting your body to sink a bit deeper into the mattress or the pillow or the warm curve of whatever is holding you right now. Isn't it strange how some things only come alive when the world gets quiet? You let the first page fall open, and there's a softness in the air, like the hush before a candle flickers. The words aren't written yet, or maybe they are, somewhere beyond language. But you can sense them forming, rising like mist from a lake at dawn. Gratitude doesn't shout, it doesn't pose or demand attention. It gathers gently at the edges of your awareness, drifting closer only when you slow down enough to notice it. And tonight, you are noticing. The page before you feels warm, almost, as if it recognizes your fingertips. You trace it lightly, and in that simple, delicate motion, something inside you loosens. A knot you didn't even know you'd tied. The day begins to untangle itself in your mind, not in sharp memories, but in softened impressions. A gesture here, a breath there, a moment where someone's eyes met yours with unexpected kindness. A small task completed, a fleeting laugh. Even the challenges of the day seem to shift into something quieter, less harsh. As if the book has its own way of smoothing out the rough edges. You can feel yourself leaning into the moment, the night holding you like warm fabric. I'm here with you, close enough that you could almost hear the whisper of my voice beside your ear. And I ask you gently, do you feel how the air changes when you give yourself permission to pause? There's a kind of magic in it, not the loud, sparkling kind, but the soft magic that wraps itself around tired thoughts and turns them into something calmer, something that feels like rest. You breathe in, slow, deep, unrushed. The page expands slightly under your hand, as though your breath is traveling through it. And in that inhale, you sense the quiet promise of the night. That you don't need to fix anything now. You don't need to figure out anything now. All you need is this moment, this book, this slow, gentle opening. And as you breathe out, the first lines of your gratitude begin forming. Not in ink, but in feeling. Warm, subtle, steady, the kind that hums softly as you drift towards sleep. There's a tender calm that comes with turning the page. That quiet, almost ceremonial motion of brushing your fingertips along the paper and letting the next part of your night unfold by itself. And as the new page opens, it feels as though a soft breeze passes through your thoughts, revealing the little moments you didn't realize you'd tucked away. The tiny joys, the quiet glimmers, the things so small you might have missed them in the rush of living. It's comforting, isn't it, to discover that gratitude doesn't always arrive in grand shapes. Sometimes it hides in the corners of memory, curled up like a note slipped between pages, waiting for you to find it when everything else has settled. You let yourself drift back through the day with a gentleness that feels dreamlike. There's no pressure to remember anything specific, just the invitation to let the small things come forward if they want to. And they do, one by one, like little lights appearing across a dark hillside at dusk. Maybe it was the warmth of your first sip of water or coffee, the way it settled inside you with a quiet sense of, I'm here. Maybe it was the softness of morning light brushing over your face, almost like a greeting, or the brief moment when you notice the rhythm of your own steps, steady and patient, carrying you without asking for recognition. It could have been something as simple as a breath that felt unexpectedly deep, or the hush between conversations, or that fleeting instant when you realized you had made it through something that once felt heavy. Little things, small, quiet things, the kind that rarely make it into stories, but somehow shape your days more than the big events ever do. You feel them now, rising gently inside your memory, not as sharp recollections, but as soft sensations. Warmth, calm, relief, the delicate settling of something inside your chest. Gratitude, when you really look at it, often feels like a whisper you didn't hear the first time. As you sit with these tiny joys, you may notice your breath starting to slow on its own. It's natural. Gratitude has a way of soothing the edges of your thoughts, smoothing the inner noise until what's left is something steady and kind. You can sense your body responding, almost leaning into the feeling, as though it recognizes this softness as something it's been longing for. And I'm still here with you, close, quiet, patient, guiding you deeper into your own tenderness. If you listen carefully, you can almost hear the night humming around us, as if it knows how important these little joys are. Isn't it strange, you might wonder, how something so small can feel so large when I finally allow myself to notice it? There's a sweetness in that realization, a warmth, a soft glow that lights the inside of you in the same way a lamp lights the corner of a room, not bright, just steady enough to make everything feel safe. You breathe again, slower this time, as though you're savoring the simplicity of being here, remembering what was gentle, what was good, what was quietly beautiful. There's a particular kind of quiet that fills the room when you turn to this next page, a quiet that feels warmer, almost human in its softness. It's the kind of stillness that makes you think of faces, voices, gestures, the quiet presences that weave themselves into your days without ever asking you to notice them. Yet somehow, when night settles in and everything slows, their warmth rises to the surface, as if called by the gentle pull of memory. You rest your hand on the page for a moment before reading it, sensing that this part of the Book of Gratitude is different, deeper, maybe, more intimate. And as you breathe in, slowly, you feel the presence of these people gather around the edges of your awareness like a soft circle of lanterns. Some of them are close, physically or in the heart. Some of them drift in and out of your days like passing breezes. Some might be people you only crossed paths with briefly, yet somehow they left a touch of warmth behind. And the beautiful thing is, they probably don't even know. A stranger who held a door without looking back. Someone who smiled at you in a moment you didn't expect it. A friend who listened. Not perfectly, not dramatically, just enough. A person who said one simple thing you didn't realize you needed. Or even someone whose presence quietly steadies you, the way a lighthouse steadies the horizon without ever moving toward you. As these figures gather in your mind, not as portraits, but as sensations, you notice your chest ease open a little more. These people, even the ones who have never heard you say it, have been tiny anchors in your day. Gentle hands you didn't ask for, shadows of kindness you didn't chase. And maybe you wonder just for a moment, how many lives have I touched without realizing it? How many times have I been someone's quiet light too? There's something comforting about that thought, something soft and humbling. You let it settle inside you like warm tea. Gratitude for others, gratitude for connection, gratitude for the way we, without trying, become part of each other's stories. As you breathe out, the page seems to glow a little, as if acknowledging each person you're thinking of. There's no rush. You don't need to list names. You don't need to recall anything precisely. Just the feeling is enough. The warmth is enough. The recognition that you have not moved through this day or this life entirely alone. I'm still here with you, my voice low and gentle, guiding your slow drift through this memory-softened landscape. Isn't it comforting, I whisper beside you, to realize that even the smallest kindness can echo far beyond the moment it's given? The night seems to lean closer, holding space for these quiet connections. And you, resting deeper now, feel a tender fullness rise inside you. A gratitude shaped not by grand gestures, but by the simple truth that you are loved, supported, witnessed, even in small, unseen ways. There's a certain hush that settles over the room as you turn this next page. A hush that feels different from the others, as if the silence itself is waiting for you to notice something you usually overlook. The paper opens slowly beneath your fingertips, almost with hesitation, like it knows this part of the story isn't always easy to read. But it's important. And tonight, in this soft, dimmed space, you're finally ready for it. This chapter isn't about the world around you, it's about you, the quiet, tender parts you rarely thank. The moment your eyes linger on this new page, you feel something shift inside, a small, steadying warmth, the kind that rises when you realize you've been harder on yourself than you deserved. Gratitude, especially self-gratitude, doesn't come naturally. It arrives quietly, almost shy, waiting for you to slow down long enough to let it speak. You breathe in, and for once, instead of replaying the things you wish you'd done differently, your mind begins to drift toward all the ways you showed up today. Ways so subtle you barely recognize them as effort. Think about it. The patience you practiced when the day felt heavy. The breath you took instead of giving up. The way you kept going even when tiredness pressed against your ribs. You might wonder, is that really something to be grateful for? And yes, it is. More than you know. Your inner world has been carrying you with such quiet dedication. You've handled emotions you didn't have words for. You've navigated uncertainties that no one else could see. You've steadied yourself in moments when your heart trembled, not perfectly, not gracefully, but honestly. And there's a humble kind of beauty in that. As you sit with this page open, the room feels a little warmer, as if acknowledging your softness. You bring so much effort to your days without ever pausing to thank yourself. But tonight, you do. You let the gratitude turn inward, slowly, like light spreading across a dim floor at sunrise. You thank your mind for thinking, for trying, for not giving up even when overwhelmed. You thank your emotions, even the tangled ones, for trying to protect you in their own ways. You thank your resilience, not the loud, heroic kind, but the quiet persistence that guided you through another day. You even thank your fatigue, because it's proof that you lived fully, that you cared, that you tried. And I'm right beside you, my voice low and close, as if leaning in to whisper, you don't need to earn this gratitude. You already deserve it. You always have. There's something tender about this realization, something that loosens the tight thread running through your chest. You feel yourself settle deeper into the night, as if your whole body is finally receiving a kindness it's long been denied. Another slow breath, another soft exhale. You've turned gratitude toward yourself, and it feels like placing a hand gently over your own heart. There's something almost sacred about the moment you turn this next page. A softness in the way the paper moves, like the night itself is exhaling beside you. The air shifts. The room seems to deepen, and for a heartbeat everything feels suspended, as though time is giving you permission to unclench from the weight you've been holding. This part of the book is quieter than the others. Not emptier, just quieter. like a small clearing in a forest where the world finally stops asking things of you. You rest your fingertips on the page, and before a single word even rises, you can feel the theme of this chapter settling into your body. Letting go. It's not dramatic, it's not sharp or sudden, it's more like a gentle releasing, the slow way a fist softens into an open palm. You take a breath, deeper than the ones before, and as your lungs fill, something in you realizes how tightly you've been carrying the day. Thoughts you meant to resolve, questions with no answer yet, worries that kept circling, looking for a place to land. But tonight, in this quiet space, you're allowed to put them down. You don't have to solve anything before sleep. You don't have to fix what feels unsettled. You don't need to chase clarity in the dark. There is a quiet gratitude in letting things be unfinished. The page glows softly, almost like it's offering you a place to rest, a small clearing where you can lay down the heaviness of the day without sorting it, without naming it, without turning it over in your hands again. You might not realize it, but letting go is also an act of gratitude. Gratitude for your own limits, gratitude for the night that shelters you, gratitude for the promise of rest before renewal. You breathe out slowly, and the exhale feels different, longer, warmer. It carries with it tiny threads of tension you didn't know were still clinging to you. The book doesn't ask you to let go perfectly. It simply invites you, gently, patiently. I sit beside you in this moment, my voice low and steady, as if speaking straight into the space behind your tired thoughts. Did you know, I whisper softly, that the night doesn't judge what you couldn't finish? It's here to hold the undone things for a while, so you don't have to. Your shoulders sink just a little more, your jaw softens, your breath becomes slower, rounder. The night takes on a protective tone, like a warm blanket draped across your mind. The concerns of the day begin to lose their sharp edges, dissolving into something hazy, distant, quiet. What once felt urgent now feels softer. Not gone, just resting somewhere safe until morning. This chapter teaches you that letting go isn't a loss. It's a kindness, a trust, a quiet way of saying, I've done enough for today. The gratitude that rises now is gentle, tender, a thank you whispered to yourself for choosing rest over rumination, softness over strain. When you open this next page, something almost physical shifts, as if the book is guiding your attention downward, back into the quiet architecture of your own body. The room feels warmer here, gentler, like a soft hand resting lightly between your shoulder blades, reminding you that you live inside something miraculous, something that has been carrying you all day without ever asking to be thanked. You pause before reading, you breathe, and for a moment the silence feels intimate, a closeness between you and the body that has been whispering for rest. Your body is quieter at night, not because it stops working, it never does, but because the world finally gives it space to speak in small, subtle ways, a soft tug in the muscles, the way the breath expands your ribs, the warmth that gathers in your chest as you settle deeper. These are conversations you don't usually hear during the rush of your day. Tonight, though, you listen. You might not realize it, but every step you took today, every stretch, every gesture, your body carried out without hesitation. It steadied you when emotions wavered. It softened your falls into tiredness. It allowed you to keep going, even when your mind felt distant or heavy. And maybe you've forgotten to feel grateful for it, not out of neglect, but out of habit. The body is so constant, so quietly loyal, that its devotion becomes invisible. You turn the page a little more, and there's a gentle hum inside your awareness, a kind of understanding that rises slowly, like warm water filling a basin. This chapter isn't asking for analysis or control. It simply invites you to acknowledge the quiet miracles happening. Inside you right now, your lungs, taking in air even when your thoughts wander, your heart beating in its patient rhythm, carrying you through every emotion, your muscles unwinding one by one as the night softens its grip, your skin cooling, warming, feeling, your mind slowly loosening its loops, making room for rest. You breathe again, and this time you can feel your body respond, a subtle melting, a release, as if it's relieved to finally be seen. You don't have to love your body perfectly. You don't have to understand it fully. Just acknowledging its effort is enough to soothe something deep within you. I'm right here with you, leaning in with a voice as gentle as a hand smoothing the blankets. Have you ever realized, I whisper, that gratitude for your body isn't about appearance or achievement? It's about honoring the quiet work no one else sees, not even you most of the time. The night embraces this chapter with a kind of reverence, as though the darkness itself respects the miracle of being alive in a body that feels, breathes, and dreams. You sense a warmth spreading through you. Not heat, but a soft recognition. A thank you, whispered inward. And as that gratitude settles into your muscles and bones, you feel yourself sinking deeper into rest, held not only by the night, but by the body that has carried you tirelessly to this very moment. As you turn this next page, the room seems to deepen in tone. Darker, softer, almost velvety. It's the kind of darkness that doesn't hide anything. Instead, it gently blurs the sharpness of your thoughts, smoothing them into quieter shapes. The night has a way of touching your worries with a tenderness you rarely notice, as though it's slowly brushing dust off an old object, revealing that it isn't as heavy as you remembered. You rest your fingers on the page for a moment, feeling the coolness beneath them. Something in the air shifts, a kind of unspoken promise that, here in this darkness, your mind doesn't have to keep looping around the things it hasn't solved yet. The night has its own way of seeing your worries, and it's so different from yours. You breathe, and it feels like sinking deeper into blankets. The page opens fully, and with it comes a sense of being held by the room, by the bed, by the soft hum of nighttime itself. The words waiting here aren't instructions or solutions, they're invitations, a gentle nudge toward a different perspective, one that only seems possible when the world grows quiet enough for you to hear your own heartbeat, your worries. They looked bigger during the day, didn't they? Louder, sharper, the kind of thoughts that stand too close, filling your vision until you can't see anything else. But here in this soft dark, they begin to shift. Some worries drift to the back of your mind without protest. Some untangle themselves, threads loosening in the quiet. Some shrink until they're only as large as a breath. And some, the ones that still linger, lose their edge, becoming rounder, gentler, less urgent. The night rewrites things in its own language, not with logic, but with tenderness, not with answers, but with rest. You may not notice it at first, but as your breath slows, your worries begin to feel more distant, like shapes underwater, softened by ripples. Thoughts that felt heavy a few hours ago now drift in slow motion, almost harmless. The night isn't erasing anything. It's simply cradling your mind until it learns it doesn't have to grip so tightly. I lean a little closer to you in this moment, not to offer explanations, but to let you feel the warmth of presence. My voice lowers, steady and soft. Have you ever felt how the dark makes everything gentler, even your own thoughts? How it whispers that not every burden has to be carried right now? Your breath deepens again, and with it comes a subtle release in your belly, your chest, your shoulders. It's the kind of release you don't force. It simply happens when something inside you realizes it finally has permission to rest. You might feel a quiet gratitude rise here. Gratitude for the stillness, for the softening, for the way nighttime doesn't ask for explanations. Gratitude for the gentle rewriting taking place in the background of your mind. The night is working with you, not against you. It wants to hold your tired thoughts. It wants to soothe your edges. It wants to make space for the dream-soft calm that's waiting just ahead. There's a different kind of silence waiting for you on this final page. A silence that feels rounder, warmer, almost like the soft glow that lingers after a candle has been blown out. When you touch the paper, it responds with a stillness so gentle that it almost feels alive, as if the book itself knows you've reached the end of your day, the final breath before surrendering to rest. You don't turn this page quickly. You let it open the way you might unfold a blanket before settling beneath it, slow, patient, savoring the last flicker of wakefulness before it melts into something softer. The air around you feels heavier now, not in a burdensome way, but in a way that holds you like it's keeping you from floating too far, too fast. The night has pulled its quietness close, wrapping the room in a hush that seems to say, "You've done enough. Let this be the ending for today." As your eyes rest on the page, you feel a gentle fullness rise inside you, the kind that comes after a long, warm conversation or the last notes of a soft melody. Gratitude has settled into you piece by piece throughout this journey, and now it sits quietly at the center of your chest, pulsing like a small, glowing ember. You sense the book leaning into you, its final message unfolding without urgency. You are allowed to rest now. You breathe it in slowly, letting that permission drift through. Your ribs, your belly, your limbs. You can almost feel the muscles loosening from the inside out, as if the weight of the day is draining away with each exhale. The thoughts that once tugged at you feel distant, softened, almost like echoes of a dream you've already begun to forget. There's a kind of magic in endings like this, the gentle closing of a narrative, not with a dramatic finish, but with a quiet understanding. A soft nod, a peaceful release. The book doesn't close loudly. It folds itself shut with the care of someone laying a hand on your shoulder, whispering, "It's okay. It's time." And I'm still right here beside you, my voice almost blending with the slow rhythm of your breath now. I speak softly, as if directly into the space between your thoughts. Do you feel how ready your body is, how your mind has already begun to drift toward the horizon of sleep? You don't need to hold on to wakefulness anymore, not even a little. Your eyelids feel heavier, not forced, just pleasantly tired, like they've been waiting for this moment to finally rest. Your breath moves in long, slow waves, each one pulling you deeper into warmth, into quiet, into the soft space between awareness and dreaming. You let the book settle beside you, not pushed away, but placed with care, like something treasured. Its presence feels like a guardian of your night, holding everything you've released, everything you've softened, everything you've allowed yourself to feel. And as the last thread of consciousness loosens its grip, you slip into a feeling that's almost like floating, the gentle descent into a space where nothing is urgent, nothing is sharp, nothing is unfinished. Just rest, just warmth, just the tender echo of gratitude humming quietly inside you. You sink deeper, and deeper, and deeper still. The book closes. The night holds you. And sleep rises like a tide, carrying you softly into its quiet, dream-filled sea.